Hello, community. I hope this video finds you well. Happy Sunday to you. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about a topic I talk about in the somatic movement all the time. And this is about increasing the fluidity in the fascial system. And more specifically, the fluidity in our spines. Why is this so important? Why is this something that is of great benefit to us? So when we hydrate our spine, and so simple, right? Tiny little moves. We can use some deflated balls to help us locate this. And to increase the fluidity of each vertebra along our spine, to increase the mobility of that. Well, what is actually happening there? What's happening is that as we increase the fluidity, you can think of it as we're actually increasing the synovial fluid that's going up the spine. And this is something that nourishes our nervous system, and it increases our sensory awareness. Sensory awareness is very important because we begin to learn how to sense ourselves as a person. Sometimes we often go around thinking that we're sort of invisible, and the degree of the gravity in which that hits totally shifts and changes. Sensory awareness also increases our proprioception. Proprioception is incredibly important, especially as we age, because it is something that we do lose as we age. And that proprioception does things like, proprioception is knowing where we are in space. So that is helpful because it can keep us from injuries, from falling. We sense the curb, we sense a wall, we sense how close we are to somebody else, to manage our distance, to manage our somas. It also increases proprioception, allows us to recognize when we are doing a movement pattern or holding ourselves in such a way that is contributing to the chronic pain that we are experiencing. But getting back to increasing the fluidity in the spine and why this is so important. Increases sensory awareness, like I said. Increases the fascial volume, which gives us that feeling of suppleness and movement through the spine. But that synovial fluid are the neurological signals that go to our brain. So it increases the clarity in which we process. I can't stress enough how this is something that as we age, we lose. So if you're an athlete, it's amazing for increasing your speed, increasing the recovery in which you recover from your workouts or from an injury. It increases our strength, our endurance, our longevity of movement. So it's truly amazing for anyone at any age, at any fitness level. We want to stay hydrated. We are shifting what it means to be well, or what it means to move in a way that's beneficial for us. We used to think that a strong muscle equated to density. This is something that's completely changing. The word strong does not equate to density. Like if you think of the bodybuilders, the body shapers, when they get very toned, everything gets more dense. However, that density can it's sort of like putting cement on our joints if it gets out of control. So the idea is that we want to keep our joints fluid. So we want to keep the fascial connective tissue slidey and glidey and able to move so that the joint has freedom of movement. So what this means is that we want it to be resilient. We want the connective tissue to be resilient and responsive. Responsive means is that when I go to move, the correct muscles engage. It is not uncommon that the connective tissue turns off. One of the most common areas that it turns off is in our glutes because a lot of us sit all day. So when those muscles turn off, and you get up to go move, or you go out for a walk or do your favorite exercise, your body will allow you to move. You will not know if your glutes are turned off. The body is extremely brilliant, but it compensates. It will pull from an area that's non-functional, that will eventually lead to discomfort or pain or injury. So in the somatic movement, a lot of what we're doing is checking to see, well, what muscles are ignited, what muscles are not ignited, and how to turn them on so that our connective tissue becomes more responsive and more resilient. And that's what strength is, right? So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful week. Thank you so much.